Hi.
Hi.
Okay. Can we start now?
Yeah, go ahead.
Right. Assalamualaikum and hello everyone. Before we begin our interview, I'd like to introduce myself as well, my partner here. I'm Putri Anis Hoida. With me today is Jasmine Zahra. We are both students from UNISA, a third year student in Bachelor of Public Relations with Contemporary Media. So today we are conducting an interview with our special guest, Mrs. Suraya, a journalist. Today's interview is about how a media practitioner would deal with a crisis. There is so much more to talk about regarding this topic. So let us begin now. But before that, Miss Raya, do you mind telling us a little bit about yourself before we begin?
Little bit about myself. Okay. I'm Suraya. I'm a journalist with Berita Harian. Um, I've been working for about 13 years. This is my 13th year in the industry. Um, I've been on many desks. We call them desks, which is basically departments. There's the crime desk, there's the court desk, news desk, and political desk. So, yeah, anything else you'd like to know? I'm a mom. I've got two boys, not so little, but and I'm from Trinidad. My house is not far from Ibiza, actually.
Oh, good to know.
Yeah. So I was quite surprised when a Unisa student contacted me. So I was wondering how you got my contact.
Yes, I tried found you at FB.
Okay. Pretty famous, I guess. I didn't know you look for me on Facebook. Okay. I didn't know that. Okay, go ahead. I think we should just jump into it because
Okay.
we've got
Yeah.
a set of questions. Okay, go ahead.
Okay. How did you start your journey as a journalist?
Oh, I've always wanted to be a journalist. I knew I wanted to be a journalist when I learned to read when I was 2 years old. So
Oh.
my grandfather taught me how to read using the newspaper. Later, the millennial newspaper used to be in print. So I used it to learn how to read. So it was my first literature. And then in, we call it junior high, probably you guys call it primary school, standard four. I moved to the US, and then in the US, there were a lot of news, and Christian Amanpour was always on TV. So I said I wanted to be just like her. So after high school, I came back and I pursued my studies, and here I am a journalist.
Where did you pursue your studies? In which university?
Okay, back then, UNISA was not completed yet. It was probably a small campus. So I was in UITM, Shahlam. It was probably the mass school. It's not the only one, but it is the school that in Malaysia it was offered. So I went to UITM because I also need to practice for my bahasa.
So you took mass comm, is it?
Yes, I did.
Oh, okay. Okay. Next question is, what type of media do you work with? Is it
Right
like
now, with the Harian, it's media prima. So there's online, there's print, we do what we call audio. Audio is mobile journalism. Yeah, and I've been on radio as well, but not as a presenter, as a guest. Okay.
so is it usually in entertainment or sports or education, or is it like, do you focus on one type of media like entertainment or
Okay, those are
random?
not called media, we call them desks,
Oh,
like
yes.
units. So, like I said earlier, I'm in the news desk, special desk, I've been on crime desk, I've never done sports. Maybe I did once sports. It was it was not me. I did not like it. So I did not continue sports.
Okay.
And then I went on entertainment desk. I went to help them because when there are concerts, we get to go for free. So when there's like my favorite artist coming in, so I would go to the editor and tell him, let me cover that concert. I'll do it no overtime. So I volunteer. So I get a concert, but then I have to come back and write the story about it.
Oh, usually, how long does it take for you to cover one story case?
Oh, that's a very broad question. It depends on the situation.
Oh, I see.
Mhm.
Okay.
You have to give me a bit more specific. Like, for example, if it is a car accident. But even then, if a car accident, we have to look at how many victims, the incidences or the incidents that goes around, who's involved, the circumstances. So it really is, there's no particular time for you to complete an article. But the best is like holding a hot potato in your hands. You have a hot potato in your hands, you want to get rid of it as fast as you can. You don't want to hold on to it until it gets cold. So it's in your hand, take care of it, and then get rid of it.
True. Okay. As a journalist, what are your experiences in dealing with crisis?
What have I not done? Let's see. I did the landslide in Batagani. I covered the train wreck in KLCC. These are crises, huh?
Yeah.
PR crisis. There's many. Almost every news we write about companies are PR crisis. But if you're talking about instances or incidents that natural disasters are crisis, then that's a different type of crisis. What type of crisis are you talking about?
Any crisis you can explain about maybe one of the PR crisis that you have dealt with, that you have experienced.
I think the best example for your assignment for your topic today would be the KLCC train accident, rapid KL train accident in KLCC station heading towards Ampang. Do you remember that?
Yeah.
Okay. When was that?
I think it was in, is it 2000? I'm not sure what year, but I think I've
It
heard
was
of it.
last year. It was only last year.
Let's see.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay. Alright. In terms of media, what kind of crisis have you deal with?
Media, we don't deal with PR crisis. That will be the public relations department that have to deal with us. You guys, the PRs, will have to deal with us because we will give you the crisis. That's what we do. We will ask you questions to the point that you cannot answer. So I don't really have a crisis in terms of media. I don't worry about PR crisis, but public relations people will have to deal with us. Let me give you another example. We go back to the rapid KL incident, right? The train accident. When that happened, the chairman of Prasarana at that time made a very insensitive statement.
Yes.
Okay, that was a PR nightmare for Prasarana. So how do they handle it? Because this man is some political guy. He was put there by politics, and that politic group happens to be in the government. So how do you get rid of someone like that when you are a GLC? It's government-linked company, and then this guy is, being insensitive towards your customers that's giving money to your company. So that is a PR crisis. So we don't handle it. You guys have to handle it. We dig into it. So it's actually our bread and butter. We like that you guys have crisis. We like to see PR people running around with their head, So yes, we do have fun with PR people.
So, what is your role as a PR in crisis communication?
I do not have I don't have any role in PR for a corporate, but again, what I do is I create the crisis for public relations. Like I said earlier, you had this corporate guy who made the statement. So what I do is I highlight the matter for all the readers. So I said, you guys, you know what? Prasarana has this chairman. He doesn't care about the people riding the train. Why does he not care? Because he's being insensitive. You know? So then UPR will have to worry about, okay, how do we answer to the media? Put out a statement in the media so that the media is happy, the people is happy, and also the guy in the politics is also happy. How do you do that? So that is a PR crisis for your side.
Do you
Go ahead.
do you go to the crisis location to give coverage?
Actually, yeah, we have to go to location.
And then, are there any challenges that you deal with? Maybe when you do the coverage at the crisis location, maybe the person did not answer you nicely, or the
Oh,
person get mad.
if it was a PR representative and they know I'm a journalist, they usually don't do that. But other like the people that the PR has to answer to, like your chairman, your CEOs, they might be the ones who's answering to us. You know, like I said earlier, the Prasarana chairman made fun of the victims in the accident. So it wasn't actually the PR people who did that. It was your chairman who did that. So, but then the problem is not on the chairman. It was on the PR how to handle it. And the best way the company knew how was to get rid of him. So he got fired. Okay. So it is for us when we do get rude PR representative, it actually makes our job more fun as a journalist. Fun because we get to poke fun to the companies. We get to tell the whole world how bad your company is. Okay, so usually PR have very good relationship with the media. It's not that we are out there to get you. Don't get me wrong, but if you are rude, you get what you give. Okay, but you know, if you give peanuts, you get monkeys. There's a word. Have you heard about that? You know, so if you want, you know, really beautiful things about your company, you have to give good things. And I would say there are some bad PR incidents, okay, but I would not call that a crisis. Maybe a hiccup.
Right. So, the other question is, what are your suggestions for effective collaboration with organization and the media during the crisis?
During a crisis. Okay. Okay, we go back to Batangkali landslide. That's another crisis. It's a big crisis affected the whole country. Right. During that landslide, the worst PR team sadly was the Ministry of Communications and Digital because they did not do their job. Okay, their job was to provide communication so that we could send the stories quickly. But the thing is, in Batangkali, it was a hillside. We are in the middle of nowhere. There's not even a street lamp. So you can imagine there's no internet. It took us 2 days to get the ministry to set up a satellite truck so we could have internet access at the site. That's the first thing. That's bad PR for the ministry. But good PR, you guys can look at the Fire and Rescue Department. They're very good in terms of communicating with journalists. They know exactly what we need to know. We don't even have to ask questions. They will have the answers. So one of the bad PRs during that event was the health ministry because there were a lot of questions that went unanswered. And then so what we had to do as a senior journalist, I have my own network. So that if we cannot rely on the ministry, then we will go ask for sources. And when we do that, it makes the ministry look bad. So they should have been more prepared. They should have just given the journalists what we need, which was very simple questions. Um, the situation, how is the victims doing, how many victims have been found. So since the Ministry of Health at that time, it was fairly new, I guess, but they were not willing to work with the media. So what happened was I had to go around them. Being a 13-year senior, I do have contacts in the hospital myself. I was able to walk in without anybody knowing I was a journalist. I got the details all by myself. Then we broke the news. So we could just, because earlier we did ask, we would always ask first. But since they were not willing, then we'll have to find other ways because the people are still waiting for the news.
All right. That's so challenge for journalists.
I think it's a challenge for the PR because you guys may want to try to hide it. Okay, I give you another example. For Petronas, it's a company famous in Terengganu. I do have friends, a lot of friends in Petronas, especially in Kerteh. Coming from Terengganu, I do have a lot of people that I know working in Kerteh and working in offshores. You know, explosions happen, accidents happen on site every single day, but it's not reported. And as a journalist, sometimes I want to report it. But then, because of a good relationship we have with Petronas, what I will do is I will check first. Whose fault was it? Was it Petronas' fault? Or was it the staff that ignored safety procedures? What was the situation, or let's say the circumstances behind the incident? So if it was clearly not Petronas' fault and they have done their due diligence, which is they've contacted the family, they've given medical help on time, early, managed to help the victims and did not cut their pay, did not blame the victim, then there's no reason for me to blow it out of proportion and let the whole of Malaysia know. Because then at the end, the company is helping the government, and if the company is not doing well, the government won't do well, and it's basically a big snowball. So certain things, if you have a good relationship with journalists, we will protect the company without even PR asking.
All right.
Right.
Oh, you have your hand raised. So
Yes.
cute. Go ahead.
Okay, so as a journalist, have you ever had a rough patch, like yourself as a journalist, for like anything that you have covered for? Have you ever like gotten any negative negative impact from it? Have you ever?
On me, no, because I still have to write the news. So regardless what UPR does, I can still write my news. I've had a company try to sue me once. They can try, but we are protected by law. We do have a media accreditation pass. We don't have to give you our sources. For example, I wrote an article about a certain company, and then they were like, no, this did not happen. It was slander. I said, if it was slander, you take me to court. And they wouldn't do that. They sent me the LOD, hoping that I will cave in, but I did not, because I know if I brought the matter to court, then every other media will come in and get to know the same facts that I've gotten to know. So they do not want that. So they settle. So to me, a good journalist, you're not really a journalist until you get called to court. So yes, I actually wait for PRs to send me LODs. But so far, I've not lost any cases because I've not slandered anyone. So any issues with any PR? Let's see. PR and media usually have very good relationship. They don't try to pick fights with us because you know the impact will go fall back on the PR, not on the media. So yeah, I have not had a bad PR experience. Although if anything was happen, if you look at other public instances, for example, if you fly Malaysia Airlines, right? and then you did not like your food. The best you can do is complain to the airline, and they'll just apologize. Like what happened to the uncle recently, go on KLCC, Samad Saleh cut in front of him, all he could do is put on social media. But that guy happens to be the former officer of Menteri Besar Pahang. So he's got some, his voice is quite loud. So KLCC picked the wrong people, okay, to bully lah. But as a journalist, if it happened to me, I don't have to put it on Facebook for the whole world to know. I would just have to call your PR. KLCC is Sharina, and I'll just call her up and say, Sharina, this happened to me. You want this in Berita Harian, or can we, take care of this? So immediately, I guarantee you they'll take care of it. So if it's airline, they will solve the matter for us immediately. So I do feel bad for the public though, because they do not have the same access. They don't. So it's a bit, you feel bad. Just so what I do to, I remind myself, just because you can does not mean you should. So things that we do get privileges. I can go into a Korea KLCC for free. I can go watch movies for free. I've got offers for my son to go into private colleges, private school, boarding school, the apa tu dipanggil kat sini, MRSM, SBP. They offered, they have been offered, but then just because I can doesn't mean I should. Because I know my son, I know he's not into boarding school and all that, so I can't. And I feel bad for the children who actually work hard to get a place in these schools. So those are the things, media privileges that PR actually gives us because they want to keep that good relationship. I don't think they should do that. It's wrong. It's ethically wrong. But it is how it is. Sometimes they consider it's just business. It depends on the person themselves.
Do you think that everything that you wrote as a journalist, do you have to ask for the permission to publish it every time for everything that you have wrote?
Permission from whom?
From the company that you wrote for, not wrote for, like whatever that you wrote. For example, for maybe Shell. If you wrote something about them, maybe you want to publish it. Do you have to ask for their permission?
It depends. Is it a good thing or a bad thing? If it is somebody accusing Shell of something, as a journalist, what I would do is I would bring that complaint to Shell and then say, hey, Shell, I've got this complaint and this person claims whatever is going on. So, would you like to answer me, or I'm just going to blast it without your answer? Either way, Shell will answer. So either they answer, sorry, so we don't have any comments, then I will just put in my article, we have contacted Shell, but they said no comments. Or they will give us a response.
So what if they don't give an answer? What if they don't respond to your questions at all?
I'll just write, I read in there, my communication with Shell, what happened, ataupun I tulis kat situ, percubaan menghubungi pihak Shell, gagal ataupun tidak mendapat sebarang jawapan. So what I do that, when I do that, I close the door for legal actions towards me because I've done my part. I've given Shell an opportunity to respond, but they choose not to. So they cannot sue me for slander. But if they want to sue, let's say the issue is not right, and then I've given them a chance to answer, but they choose not to answer. If they choose to sue, they can sue the person that gave me the information for slander. But they cannot sue me because I've asked them the question and I've told them, who am I, where am I from, this is the information I got, are you going to answer me? So if they ignore, even if I send them the answer, let's say I punya deadline pukul 5 petang. Okay, I email them at 4 atau pukul 4:50 I email them. So I boleh tulis kat situ press time, you know, we tried to contact Shell but there was no answer. 4:50 petang, you know. But then if they answer, we can use it for the next day. So as long as I've done my due diligence and then Shell answer at say pukul 6 petang dia jawab. I say, sorry lah, I punya deadline pukul 5. You know, story dah keluar. But at least you answer tomorrow. So PR, you guys have to be careful on time. As long as we give you an opportunity to answer a certain issue, you should answer on time. At least you answer, okay, we will answer to you. Can you please hold the story? Give us a little bit of time. If you do that, ma'am. Okay.
I'm sorry, I think I lost you for a second just now.
Oh, okay. I can see you guys just fine. So basically, if you guys as a PR, let's say you graduate and you start your job as a PR exec, and you get an email, a question from a journalist, and you do not have the answer, you have to get the answer from a different department. The least you can do is reply immediately and tell them you need time to find out from the whatever department you're supposed to find out from. And then ask the journalist, please hold the story until we get an official answer. Okay? If I do not wait, I still print it, then you guys can sue me. But usually we don't, because we have an understanding. Because we know PR, you work in the communications department. Okay, let's say incident, an explosion happened in Shell punya, one of the Shell punya outlet, which is under a different department, your safety, your engineering department. So you don't know what's going on. You have to ask your engineers, kan? You have to ask your your safety health officer. You cannot answer on behalf of them. Walaupun you tahu apa berlaku, you never answer on behalf of people. So you answer on behalf of corporate comm, PR. You tell the journalist, hold on, let me get the answers. Give me 24 hours, for example. But you have to be a person of your word. Like if you say 24 hours, it means 24 hours. If you take longer than 24 hours, then we will just ignore that. And next time we won't ask you anymore. Okay? You have to keep the relationship. It goes both ways. Respect. If you want us to respect you as a PR, you have to respect us as journalists. Everybody's working, everybody, trying to reach the goal. So we have to have some sort of understanding.
I think that's it from me.
I have one question for you. This is the last question, I think. Since we are going to have our internship next year, do you have any advice for us?
Where are you planning to do your internship? Where are you from, Anis? You're from where?
I'm from Perlis.
Perlis. And you, Jasmine?
I'm from Sarawak.
You're from Sarawak. Okay. Jasmine is good. She can go anywhere in Semenanjung. But for Putri, you might want to try Sabah Sarawak, or you can try Johor. But the industry is big in KL. Industry is quite big in KL. I don't know if you might want to consider this. Try doing your internship in the newsroom. Because when you go into PR, then you can have an idea of what a journalist is looking for. So then when you go into PR, you don't have to, bila you masuk dalam industri, you tiba-tiba you berjumpa dengan journalist, then you don't know, alamak, apa maksud dia. That is, I think, the biggest miscommunication between PR and media practitioners is that they don't understand each other. So I personally think that PR should come into journalism, at least during internship, so you know who you're going to deal with. we're a bit diva. I have to. You can ask your lecturer. If this is recorded, right? Okay. Journalists memang diva. I'm sorry, but we are. So you come into the industry as interns. You will see for yourself, and then you can get mentally prepared. To deal with us for the rest of your career. It's not easy dealing with journalists. I can tell you that because we are mostly divas.
Right.
Okay.
So, Jasmine, do you have any question for Miss
Um,
Raya?
I think that's it from me. Thank you.
Yeah, it's gonna be a long report, you guys. It's been what, an hour? Good luck.
It's okay, we can edit
Report.
it.
Okay. All right. Are we done? Any
Uh,
other questions?
I think
You
that's
want me to help recommend you into PR companies? Sure, you have my number. Then I will forward that. No
Yes.
problem. But you can ask your lecturer. Maybe if it is a possibility that you guys go into internship in the news desk, so then you know who you're going to deal with, which is not easy. I promise it's not easy.
Yes. For internship placement, we cannot make a self choice. Our
Ah,
lecturer,
yeah. You can, but you can go to your advisors, right, and let them know your plan. I think UNISA has been great in terms of accommodating students with what they need. My father graduated from UNISA PhD, so I know how they work. They're pretty good. They actually listen. They actually listen to the students.
yes.
No, you don't say bad things. You can text me later.
All right. Yes.
Okay.
Okay. I think that's all from us. Thank you, Mrs. Raya, for
You taken pictures and screenshot.
yeah.
Pictures,
yes.
screenshot. You got everything.
Can. Jasmine, can
Ah,
you take a screenshot?
Can? Okay.
nanti kan nak suruh online balik sebab nak ambil kan.
Okay, 1, 2, 3. Okay.
Alright. Alright. Good luck with your studies. See you guys in the field.
Okay,
I
thank you
hope
so
you're
much,
gonna.
Mrs. Suraya. Thank you for
You're
your
welcome.
insights.
Bye. Alright. Assalamualaikum.
Waalaikumsalam.
Salam.